Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Before we get started, I wanted to make sure that everyone can hear me and see my screen. Doesn't matter if you can see me or not, I am on camera, but just as long as you can see the screen, that's what the important piece is. You just drop a note in the chat. All right, perfect. Thank you. Also, just wanted to take a minute and just recognize it's 9/11 today, anniversary of 9/11, and just however you take your moment of silence throughout the day, highly recommend. I've seen some really great posts on social media. So just I wanted to make sure that we did recognize that. Also, just wanted to let everybody know that this is actually a class that I have done for our social media team as well. So we kind of put this together. I tried to make it as specific as possible to social media networking, and actually have some great videos to show you tutorials, just to make it a little bit more granular. And we're going to kind of just dive in. So for those of you who do not know me, my name is Joanne Theriault-Fazio. I am on the proper rate side of our guarantee rate companies, but I have been with guarantee rate companies for 17 years. Quite some time. Been in the mortgage industry for even longer. And social media surprisingly has become a passion of mine over the last handful of years. I think for those of us who do utilize it a lot for business purposes, especially, it really just is a great way to engage with people that you don't see every day, but you really want to know about their lives and their business and the things that they're up to. So in no particular order, kind of some of the stuff that we're going to go over, and it'll just be popping up in the slides and everything that you're going to be seeing. But we're going to, kind of talk about defining goals, optimizing your profile, building your following, engaging with your followers, how to initiate conversations, because some people always find that weird, like, oh, am I just going to go ahead and DM somebody on Instagram? Follow up and nurture relationships. It's a great way to continue to do that. We're going to talk a little bit about joining groups and communities. I'm going to talk quite a bit actually about attending virtual events and webinars. We actually do that quite a bit. We do that right now as well. And I'm going to talk about how we like to give back to our audience. It's just a really easy, fairly inexpensive way to engage. So one thing I kind of wanted to start with is my philosophy is to be on as many of the social channels as possible. There are a lot of them. And the reason being is that you are just going to sometimes you'll have followers who follow you on everything, which is amazing. For me, it's probably my parents. But you're also going to have people that will connect to you on Facebook, but maybe they really just TikTok all the time. They don't really log into Facebook. Like I kind of only log into Facebook to wish people happy birthday every day, and then I log out. I spend most of my time in Instagram or on LinkedIn. I business scroll at night to see what everybody's up to, anniversaries, promotions, and whatnot. LinkedIn, there is a widget on your Outlook. For those of you who utilize Outlook, so here today we probably have some realtor referral partners as well, but at GRCs we do use Outlook, and you can add a LinkedIn widget to it. It's amazing. It's like probably one of my favorite things in the world, because you just connect your LinkedIn and you can double click somebody's email address, and if their email is connected to their LinkedIn page, it automatically takes you to it, and you can just click connect. So I do that with every single party to any transaction, realtor, attorney, clients, obviously. Do it with the clients during the pre-approval stage as well. And then that just makes sure that you're connected to more and more people. As you can see, like from a following standpoint, these are like my top 3 sites that we have. I also operate as a team, so it's a little bit different. So some of my profiles are going to show just my name, because that's how LinkedIn is, but pretty much everything else that I do is going to operate as a team. And then my other pages that we have, we might get some traction on YouTube. We kind of just really started TikTok, and I pretty much do Twitter for the news, but for the most part, we really are looking at trying to engage across all platforms, but you're going to see that some are just going to have more engagement than others. So just really wanted to mention that because I'm also going to talk about how to kind of connect them all. I'm going to tell you what we utilize. Doesn't mean that that's the best way to do it. There's other systems out there. There are other, things that you can pay for and everything like that. But I'm just going to kind of go over what really I like to utilize. Also, if any point in time you do have any questions, I'll try my best to monitor the chat. Sometimes it's hard to do, but feel free to ask questions. At the end, we'll pick a few random people to win some swag from GRCs that we will send out to you so that we can, make sure that we're engaging today. And I'm happy to answer any questions. And if you want to ask a question after the fact, you can do that too. I'm always available. But that being said, wanted to talk about just a few things with social media about like having a consistent name across all of your business and social media channels. So if maybe you are like, mortgage man Steve on one thing, but then you're like, Steve Jones on another, you want to make sure that you have some sort of consistency across all of your brands so people can find you easily. And obviously LinkedIn is where you're going to have your name, but if you have some sort of a different handle that you kind of use for everything, that's great. Just make sure that it's also, easily findable on your LinkedIn page. Like for us, we have Theriault-Fazio team and everything. And then I just make sure that it's linked back to everything. You can also pretty much link anything, anywhere across all of your sites as well, which is really great. So you want to do that, brand recognition. It looks professional. It's very easy to search you then. So if you typed in Theriault-Fazio team into Google, you would see everything pull up and all of our social channels would pull up so that I actually would task you all to type in your name or whatever your handle is and just see what pops up. I've actually had to change my handles over the years because none of them matched. Like I always thought like my whole full name is way too long. So we had shorter versions and then finally just went to like, let's just keep it all the same and easy. Also gives you, trust and credibility. People like to see that level of professionalism. It definitely helps avoid confusion, especially if you have a common name. I obviously don't, but a lot of people do. And when you're searching for somebody, you want to make sure that it's kind of consistent so you can kind of tell. That also like lends to the, profile pictures, keeping them updated. I think I'm actually probably due for a new headshot at this point. It's probably about 5 years old. It was from a Grow photo shoot a few years ago. But, just keeping it all updated so people can easily find you. It also helps you streamline marketing because you're not having to say, click here to follow me on Facebook at this one and Instagram on this one and TikTok on this one. It's all the same. And it also helps you be able to cross all the platforms for engagement. Some will automatically be linked back to each other, like through Meta. You can link back the Instagram and Facebook. And so you really kind of want to have the same thing on there, especially. So what I want to talk about specifically today is why you should market an event on social media. And this goes into the actual topic of the class, which is networking on social media. Because if you're not marketing your events that you're doing, whether it's a lunch and learn, a photo shoot at a dog park, a movie that you're putting on, or just anything, then it's almost like, did it really happen? So you want to not just market it after the fact with like, oh, hey, I did this great thing and it was really cool. And every one of your followers is like, well, I didn't get invited. This is a way to reach more people. Not everyone checks their personal email all the time. How many emails do you have that you're like, oh gosh, I want to go to that, but I don't know. And then you mark it unread and then you don't RSVP. So this is another really great way to be able to reach your target audience essentially on multiple platforms and be able to invite them. So social media, obviously you can increase your reach. You can do it from anywhere, just, I would say, reaching out to the individuals that you're already connected with. You can also do paid posts and advertising. We boost some of our posts, not many of them. It just kind of depends on what the event is. Also lets you, just engage with people, whether it's, sharing in DMs, tagging certain individuals in the comments or something like that. So you can engage with people a little bit more. It's also a really cost-effective way to do like an event and put it on and market it. We used to send out postcards or printed invitations for like every event we did, especially the big ones. And we do a couple a year. And that can really add up. If you're like, well, I want 200 people there, so back out to the 10%, I have to invite 2,000 people. Like, you really are spending a lot of money. This way, it kind of keeps the cost down. It's also real-time communication. Who gets their mail every day? I mean, I would love to know. Put it in the chat. Like, do you get your mail from the mailbox every single day? I do not. I usually get it when my toddler reminds me he wants to go get the mail. So that's usually when we get the mail, because nobody gets anything exciting for mail. It's bills and it's postcards usually. So this is a more timely way to communicate. It also allows you to target your audience. Now, whether or not that is targeting your audience and it being like the individuals that you know, or targeting a geographic location. And yes, we will get you the slides, Tom and Christina. I love it that you said you do get your mail. Yes, rate does have specific naming guidelines you need to abide by, definitely. And you can work with your marketing account manager in order to go over that with compliance. So like for me, my name's obviously in it, but I know a lot of people will have, separate taglines and stuff like that. So you can definitely work with them on that if there's something that you want to do that's a little bit more different or, specific. Also, this is a great opportunity for community building by doing events on social, because if you are doing, say, a dog park event, believe it or not, that is something that we kind of do every year, sometimes with the real estate partner and sometimes not. And you just get so many people to attend those that you wouldn't even know to connect with, because people are parts of dog park communities on mostly Facebook, I would say. Like, those community things are mostly Facebook related, but they're a really great opportunity. So, there's different ways to market it too, like through your social media posts, just a regular static graphic. That's pretty much going to be, your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And unless it's built into a reel or a video, like, you're not going to be able to post that onto YouTube or post it onto TikTok, because those require videos to be uploaded. But your stories and videos you can post to everything, which is really great. And I would say that if you are posting something like that event-wise, any platform that does have the story capacity, you always want to share the story and you always want to share the link to go ahead and RSVP. Another way to market it is, like, once it's all posted up, you want to send direct messages. So send some DMs to some of the clients that you work with, some of the agents that you work with, whoever it may be. You want to be able to send some messages. And I just do a lot of copying and pasting. So it's send the message, copy, hit it to the next person, hit it to the next person. Facebook and LinkedIn invites, evites for events. I don't think people use them enough. You may have heard about this event on Facebook or LinkedIn, because we do use it. Facebook's great for, I would say, pretty much anything. LinkedIn, it depends what I'm doing. If it's a webinar-based thing, I definitely always post it on LinkedIn. If it's in person, it really just depends on if that's who I want my target audience to be. Like, do I want my past clients to be invited to something? So we usually create pages on Facebook and LinkedIn to help, like, just maximize. You can boost the posts on Facebook, which is great. LinkedIn, if you want to follow up with people, there is a lot of copying and pasting and sending messages, but it's a great way to connect with people and engage. Facebook allows you actually to do like a send message to all possible participants, and then just like blast out one message to everybody individually. So that's a really great feature that they have there. We also use different RSVP systems. It just really depends on what we're doing. We do a lot of SurveyMonkey, and if it's something that requires like a time slot, like this week we have a social media photo shoot, video shoot that we're doing, where we're helping agents take pictures and videos that we're going to turn into social media posts. We use Sign Up Genius for stuff like that. Sign Up Genius is free. So that's really great, but that's a great thing to use if you have time slots. If you're doing a pictures with Santa event and you need to do time slots, that's a really great one. SurveyMonkey, there are unpaid versions. We do the paid version just because then you can customize your URLs and send out event reminders and certain things like that. So some of the stuff I'm talking about do cost money, but it's just a different way of investing in your business. And being able to utilize things over and over again versus like, as much as I do love getting a good postcard or an invitation in the mail, it still is something that goes out and that's just like a one-time thing and a one-time cost. Also with marketing events on social media, if you are doing a joint event, of course, like co-branding that information, tagging your referral partner on there, it's so key. Making sure that they're sharing, because if they have another couple hundred or 1,000 followers or however many, that is more people that you are going to get in front of. Also, and I didn't put this on here, but if you're hosting that event somewhere, tag the restaurant, the movie theater, whatever it is, tag them in it, because the expectation would be that they would, share, like, or comment as well. You're just getting in front of a whole other group of people. Also, hashtags. I used to not totally understand hashtags until we started like really diving into the analytics of them. And it is amazing to me how many people follow certain hashtags. So you really want to make sure that you are doing a hashtag or two that's unique to the event, but then you should always have a set of hashtags that are just consistent to you and your business. My consistent hashtags are things like mortgage, obviously, real estate, Theriault-Fazio team, proper rate. So I have a handful of consistent hashtags. And then you want to do hashtags that are getting a lot of traction, which would be like real estate, Chicagoland real estate, home improvements, DIY, like a lot of different things like that. If you are hosting something that's free or you're giving away something for free, hashtag free coffee. So anything that you click on within that, you can see in any given platform that it is going to have, a certain amount of followers. So highly recommend that you kind of have your hashtags all organized before you go to post. It's a lot less to think about then. I did mention paid ads. Like I said, we don't do them a ton, but we do them occasionally on Facebook and Instagram. You can do them on LinkedIn as well. You actually can do them on YouTube even. It's just a little bit more cumbersome. And then you really, if you're doing a paid ad for an event, if you are doing a webinar and say you're licensed in multiple states, you can obviously expand your reach. Otherwise, you want to, keep that little circle that you draw around that area a little bit lower too. So you don't want to, extend it out too far where people are just not going to come. And now you're trying to engage with people who are just too far of a distance from you to come to your event. You also, engaging with followers. So when people have questions, you want to make sure that you are responding, quickly to potential attendees and that you're engaging with them. User generated content. So you want to also encourage people to share it. Like I'm always, share with friends, share with family, share with whoever, whether it's somebody just likes messaging. We encourage people to tag people in our comments as well, so that they're tagging people to say like, oh, hey, you want to go? I see that a little bit more on Facebook than I do on Instagram. I just think people are used to tagging people on that sort of thing, but it's a great way to kind of get the word out. And then, like I mentioned probably a few times, and we'll probably mention a few times more, is post to all platforms, at least all platforms where it makes sense, depending upon, what it is that you are doing. So right here now, I have a video that should be going. Everybody can see this video going, hopefully. This is one of the systems that we use. Jasper is a lot like ChatGPT, only that it has a lot more of the internet in it and more recent content. So you're going to be able to generate content that's a little bit, I would say, more relevant. Will have a little bit more personal, like your brand voice and everything. I'm a huge fan. I can't even stress how much of a fan I am of AI. I can write. I like to write. This is so efficient. It saves so much time. There's always some extra creativity in there. As you can see, I typed in like 2 things. It spit out this National Coffee Day. You always want to tweak it to make sure that it is going to, I would say it's going to sound a little bit more like you, and make sure it actually gets your message across, because sometimes you have to tweak it that way. But like, you can ask it to put in hashtags. I can ask it to do emojis, and I always usually do. And that's the caption that you then, in turn can use across everything. So when we are starting to build out an event and we are starting to work on the marketing aspect of it, the first thing we do after we've gone into Canva and created the asset is we go to Jasper and create the content, the caption. You usually want to keep it short and sweet, because people have shorter attention spans when they're scrolling through and everything. And you really want to just be kind of consistent with how you're doing everything. So like all of our events, of course we change out templates once in a while and stuff like that, but they all kind of have the same look and feel. So our following knows what to look for. You definitely can personalize as well. And what's great about what I like about Jasper is that it has like data-driven results. So it is like pulling things from the internet that it knows it all works. Again, there's ChatGPT, there's other different AI sources. This is just the one that I found that works best for us, because you can also, I've had agents ask me to help with bios where I've like, let me just plug this in here. I've written press releases for Proper Rate using this too. So like we can do so much with AI that it's just so time efficient. Email templates, all that. But for purposes of what we're talking about today, this is strictly, I can go on and on and on about Jasper. And we actually have on our YouTube channel a whole thing about it if you guys want to check it out. But AI is just amazing and such a time saver. Anyway, so going to this next section, after we've created our caption, we have our Canva graphic, and I did not show you Canva. Everyone has a different way of creating, whether you're using Adobe. I know obviously templates and Red Arrow Connect that you can use. So you can use whatever to go ahead and create your graphic. But after we've got all that done, we use SurveyMonkey. So some people use Eventbrite. Like I mentioned, Sign Up Genius earlier. There's a whole bunch of different things, but we use SurveyMonkey. This looks a little plain. We kind of have decided to pare it down over the years, where we're sticking with like 4 questions, so not getting too granular. But this event that here I'm, in the process of creating and showing you how it was created is just about a National Coffee Day. National Coffee Day is probably one of the easiest things to run if you do it in person, because you're going to a coffee shop and people are going to stop by whether they intended to or not, and they want the free coffee. And it's a really, great place to be when you go at high traffic times. So we're doing 7:30 in the morning on a Thursday or Friday. And I think that for us, it's just high traffic times are key. We've also done National Coffee Day online. So if you want to try that wider reach, it's just a lot more legwork with sending out gift cards and stuff like that. But this is just showing you how we do it online. So you can personalize the link with SurveyMonkey. Always brand with your logo, whether it's just your, rate company logo, your real estate company logo, whatever it is. I have a team logo created. So for the person in the chat who asked about, name and branding and everything, you can totally get with your creatives on the marketing side, and they can create a logo for you that's just your name at, rate companies, whatever company you are part of. You want your questionnaire to be short. You don't want people to get bored in the middle of it and stop filling it out. I also recommend that you can make the fields mandatory. So make them mandatory, because if people skip name, that's kind of an important part. Or if they skip email, then you can't send them the reminder. And you definitely want to have a system or some sort of a manual system even set up that does have reminders. So I would recommend anything that you can automate is always easy. But if you don't have a system, RSVP system that's set up to automatically send out a reminder. Just send an email to everybody, either BCC, and you can really only do that with like a minimal amount of people, or send individual emails. There's nothing worse than getting an email with a bunch of strangers on it, and they're all in the to field. Anyway, so once we have created our Canva asset, we have created our caption content, and we've created our survey, now it's time for us to post the event online and make it live. I use Loomly now. It's been brought to my attention by my team that does this, and I can do this myself too, and I have done this. I actually did this with myself, that it's just cumbersome to log into every system. And so what I have for you here is a system that we pay a subscription to. It's not too terribly expensive. It's like a Hootsuite. There's a whole bunch of them out there, but this one is nice because it checks all the boxes for the social channels that we are on. We can schedule it. You can do, if you're doing a video or a reel, you can do a cover photo, which is nice. There's just different things that you can do in here. And then also analytics, and analytics are huge because if you're doing things that don't work, you need to know that. You need to know if things aren't working for you. So this is kind of just what it looks like. There's an app too. So there's an app for this. There's an app for SurveyMonkey. There's an app for Sign Up Genius. What are the other things that I've mentioned? Jasper doesn't have an app, but you can save it to your homepage on your phone. So I use Jasper on my phone actually all the time. Canva has an app. So what I like about all the systems that we do use is that there's also an app for it. So I'm like, okay, this is just so easy. If I don't want to get off the couch, it's 10 o'clock at night, but I want to finish something, I don't have to log back into my computer to do it. I can just do it from my phone and schedule it out. So I'm going to show you now a video on how we schedule out something on Loomly. So you have your asset that you're going to be, putting up here. You can see there was already something scheduled for Labor Day. And this is me selecting every place that we were going to put it: Facebook, Twitter, or X, sorry, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn. And this is a static post, so I didn't do TikTok or YouTube. And I only did Pinterest because there's an extra step on it. And it took us quite some time actually to figure out how to post to Pinterest. And sorry, you totally just saw a picture of my toddler on the potty writing on it with marker. But anyway, so we post everywhere. And in this, you can schedule it out. It will also give you suggested times for posting. So if you select a time, it will say like, ooh, that's not a great time to post. This is our suggested time. I just, for purposes of doing this, I just did 10 a.m. across the board because I just wanted to be consistent. So this, see, I scrolled to the bottom, like, oh, I want to post, but it tells me Pinterest is incomplete. And that's because for those of you who do Pinterest, like I do it a lot for cooking videos and stuff like that. Most of the time I don't make the things that I pin because I'm not the chef in the family, but I send them to my husband to do. But anyway, there's a board that you have to put it on. So I actually created a board on Pinterest. I know this sounds kind of silly, but there's great real estate content. There's great DIY. There's great like remodeling and all this stuff out there for real estate. There's very limited mortgage stuff on Pinterest. And I just kind of thought like, well, if somebody is looking in there, why wouldn't they look for mortgages? And why wouldn't it just be another place to go ahead and put us? So we have a mortgage real estate section that we have it in there too. So we post stuff in there, but I would say for the most part, it's like reels, that sort of thing. So what is great about this, it gives you like that scheduling capability. And like I said, the analytics, but also it can give you some content inspiration. It's amazing just in the last couple of years, or I don't know if it was like, this was all born out of COVID, but we have so much capability with all of these systems we can use online. You just need to figure out what one or what few work best for you. So that being said, this is just me clicking through and going to post. I popped the caption in and all of that. And it should be posting. Yep. I went ahead and I hit, go ahead and post. So that all of that only took, like, you would think like, oh my gosh, all those systems, all that design, all of that stuff would take forever. days even. It's all just, every system is just like a matter of minutes. So I do see some questions in the chat. Thoughts on Eventbrite? I love Eventbrite. I think that works well for a lot of things. It's just for us, I think that we like the survey because we ask them for their Instagram handle and a few other things. So it just depends what you're putting in there. Eventbrite's really great if you're doing like an event with multiple people. Like we just had proper rate softball and guaranteed rate field. So in the drop down, it was like select your loan officer. I love it for those types of purposes. It just really different. It says, I'd love to do this on Facebook. How do you do a photo shoot online? No, the photo shoot itself is in person on Friday. But the pushing it out into the world, we did that online. So yeah, I think it just depends. Just, ask if you have a team of people that help run things for you, ask them what they like to use. This is just us kind of giving you like a guideline and a roadmap on what we use and kind of how we do things. Right, but great questions. I like questions. I wanted to just take a screenshot and send this to everybody really quick too. This is the easiest way to invite people to something in an event that you've created online on Facebook, is that once you've done one and invited all the people, you can go in and like just select them all again. So you are in the event, you click invite, events that you hosted, and then all of the people will pop up. And as you can see, Tracy Anastasia, my EVP of Ops and our Grow executive sponsor, pops up as one of the first people on there to get invited to things. So you can see that people are already like invited. Maybe I invited them from my personal page. This is the business page, but it's just so easy. Like once you do it one time, which is a little cumbersome, you can go ahead and click all. So I wanted to kind of show that quick tip as well. So we decided not to post this particular event on LinkedIn, just because my LinkedIn reach is pretty wide, like clients being licensed in so many states and everything, and it would have been pretty cumbersome. LinkedIn's also great, but it does limit you to 1,000 invitations out to people per week. So if you host a lot of things online, like I had this event on there and I had another event on there as well, my social media photo shoot, I didn't add National Coffee Day to that as well because I just would have run out of invitations. Facebook limits you to 500 per person, but this is where if you're doing a co-branded event, you get somebody to help you invite people as well. But just tips for trying to streamline pieces of the process. So this, again, these slides will go out to everybody. The videos will actually get posted up to, I'm going to start that video over because I didn't know it was going to start so fast. The videos will get posted up to YouTube so everybody can go back and look at the how-tos and everything, the step-by-steps. I always find those to be really helpful. We have some Canva step-by-steps online as well that my former business development manager did, and it just, people watch those. They love those step-by-step things. So this next thing I'm going to show you, because we've kind of created everything, we've gotten it all up there. Now, how do we keep pushing it out there? One thing that I like to do is the minute someone new follows me on Instagram, you can do it on other platforms, but I feel like we get more followers on a regular basis on Instagram. You can have a saved reply where I just go to message them and I start typing in THANK. The whole message pops up, I click it, and then I hit send. So again, anytime you can automate anything and just like streamline it, it's great. So this is just a really quick clip on how to set that up. So you basically go into settings, you go down to, saved reply, and then you make sure that your message is in there. Mine says to, thanks for the follow. Please let us know if we can be of any assistance, and check out our link tree. If you all don't have a link tree, you should definitely have one that attaches to all your social media. So it puts all your social in there, puts your website in there, your apply online, any events that you're hosting. I always have that. I usually have like anything that we were like notated in the news. There's certain licensing things that we have to have in there for compliance. So I just have that all in my link tree, and I just direct people to that to be like, just, continue to check it out. That's where you can go and RSVP for any events that we have virtually or in person. And I send that message. I will say that you get 100% read rate because that person literally probably just followed you and they're probably already online. And then I would say probably at least 80% of the people respond back. Like, thank you. I will check it out. Even if they just give you the thumbs up or the heart love, it's really nice. But that's a great way to just engage with people the second that they follow you. And you can also, of course, do a lot of copy paste, and sending that invitation out to everybody via DMs, whether it's DMing on Instagram, you can do it on LinkedIn. I think it's called messaging on LinkedIn. You can do it on Facebook on the instant messenger thing. So you can do it any of the channels. It's just, I think having some sort of like a consistent plan of like, this is what I'm going to do is obviously very helpful. And you can do this for in-person events or virtual events, either one. And so I said a lot of words. And before I get into my last little piece of the spiel, I'm just going to see if there were any more questions because I see a lot in this chat box, which is great. Yes, recording will be available. So thanks for asking that question. And if you have somebody in your branch or a referral partner that you think missed it, where you're like, I need to send this to my agent over at Remax because I know that they're going to want to start doing this when we do these events. And like, how easy is it to do all of these little things? So yeah, it'll be out there. National events team. Is this who helps us set up larger events? Yeah, everybody should have an account manager or an event manager within rate companies and within your own rate companies. Like who I have over on the proper rate side is different who somebody would have over on the GRA side. If you don't know who yours is, just email events at and then rate, proper rate, origin point, or GRA. And also, of course, ask your branch manager as well. Anyway, so what I wanted to just kind of close with were some of my social media networking do's. I didn't put the don'ts in here. I feel like don'ts are negative, but also don'ts they're sometimes obvious, right? So I kind of wanted to focus on the do's. So one of my top two, like these are truly my top two, are invest in systems that make you more efficient. Like you can see, like I did not implement all of these things the first time I decided to do an event. Over the years, the way we do events has evolved and improved, and we've added things. We've taken things away too, where I'm like, I don't want to pay for that anymore. Like I used to do a lot of Kahoot during COVID. Like we did it as a company. We would use that account for everything. And I loved doing those virtual events with the trivia. And that was so amazing, but it's very costly. And then as we all went back out into the world, like people just weren't attending as much. So then sometimes you also have to know when to stop investing in something as well. But I'm a huge proponent of investing in things that make you more efficient. And if anything, like at least go out and do that free chat GPT and just check it out. Again, I'm a huge fan of Jasper. They have a lot of great education videos and like human beings that will actually help you and create your own brand voice. And that's just my personal opinion. My next one is invest more, and it's in a human being. So, or someone to share. I have a business development coordinator and a business development manager that one I share and one I don't with a bunch of different people. But I would say that just having people who are experts in certain things like systems, Canva, design, ideas, marketing, it's so wonderful to have somebody be part of your team that kind of keeps everything going, especially if our business is up and down. Rates go up, we're not as busy, rates come down, refis are going. take your foot off the gas with business development. You do not want to be doing that. You always want to have somebody helping you with business development and being consistent. And if you can't invest in a human being or someone to share quite yet, then make sure that you're doing some sort of time blocking so that you don't let that stuff fall away. We talk about time blocking a lot and Grow as well. And if anybody needs help with time blocking, we're obviously happy to help with that and provide some valuable feedback and some forms and stuff that are really helpful, I think. But I think for me, I love doing this stuff. Like I can do this stuff. I'm not as fast as my marketing kids. They're much faster. They're much better. I'm like dangerous with this stuff. And that's why I have them, because I have other things that I need to worry about, like running a business, doing loans, running sales for PR. Like I have all of these other things that I need to be involved in that I can't just play marketing person is like what I like to call it, because it is a lot of fun. This is a lot of fun to do all these events and have that creative side. A few other things that I want to mention that I didn't get into super detail, but you can go on our sites at any given time just to see what we have going on. Giveaways. We do giveaways. I think we scaled back our giveaways because we started to not get as much engagement. So you have to figure out what does work and what doesn't work. You also want to make sure, of course, that you're being compliant. So some of the giveaways that, really tend to work are Mother's Day and Father's Day giveaways. We'll do like a meat package for Father's Day and like a spa thing for Mother's Day, but you always want to make sure that you've run it by compliance. That's okay. I also recommend when you're doing giveaways that you ask people to tag other individuals. Tag a mother figure in your life, or tag your mother, tag a father figure in your life, and tell us why they're so amazing, because then you're getting that engagement. Some sort of call to action always really works well. And in the beginning, we were just giving things away. It was COVID and we weren't getting out enough, and we just started doing a lot more giveaways, grocery card giveaways, and you can co-brand your giveaways too, which is really awesome. But then we just started to kind of scale it back and be like, okay, what really works and doesn't work? And sometimes you don't know until you try it. Contests, I always say, follow the rules. Make sure, again, that you're being compliant with things. We do have an approved recurring monthly social media contest that we do. That is a great way to increase your engagement. So anytime somebody shares something of ours, whether it's, a video, a rate update, our events, clicks, like, comments, shares, whatever, they are automatically entered into our social media contest. And at the end of the month, we have a giveaway. We actually do that as a team and as a company as well. So it's a really great way to increase engagement. And we have seen an increase in followers. I wouldn't recommend necessarily running that on all platforms. That is probably more of like a Facebook, Instagram, maybe TikTok thing. So you have to just really be really clear about the rules when you are running things. Cut and paste. I'm really a big fan of like just not reinventing the wheel when you can't do have it something where you can just like do a reply all and it's not going to blast to everybody in a way that they see each other, but like separately, that works. But otherwise, just copy paste. Groups. I didn't talk about it too much, but once you have your event set up, go into the group pages, go to the group page for the restaurant, go to the group page for the school. If you're doing in conjunction with a fundraiser or anything, make sure you're posting your events in other spaces. That's probably mostly Facebook, maybe a little bit of LinkedIn, maybe even a tagging on Instagram or something like that, so that people are sharing, but make sure that you are trying to, get that out there everywhere. Be respectful of the group's rules, because if you're not, they will kick you out if you don't post on the right day. Sometimes they only want business posts on a Monday or a Tuesday or the first Monday of the month. So just make sure you know the rules, because it's usually just like you're one and done on those. Cross promote. So again, I'm a big fan of using all platforms, even if you only get like one TikTok view. It's like, okay, whatever, it lives up there and it is across all your platforms. It also just kind of helps you figure out like either where you need to try to increase your audience engagement and like your commenting, liking, sharing, as well, or where you might need to really, I don't know, focus your time and effort on something else. You're not going to have the exact same amount of followers on all platforms. It's just not possible. We don't have the same amount of people on all platforms, but some of the platforms are more growing a little bit more rapidly. For those of you who've been on a grow call in the past, I've had Sarah McMillan on a few times from marketing, and she talks a lot about how TikTok is like the amount of people added per day to TikTok is just so large. That is a growing platform. And I was really hesitant myself to be on TikTok because I was like, oh my gosh, I do not need another social media page, but I don't even have to go on TikTok half the time because Loomly just does it for me. So cross promote wherever you can. Just makes life easier. Use AI as often as possible. But again, tweak the words because you still want it to sound like you and to make sense and everything. But just the efficiency of it is just like, it's incredibly beautiful, like for anything, email templates, captions, whatever. I used it for my Christmas card last year. And after my husband read it, he goes, "You used Jasper, didn't you?" So I'm like, I did, because it was really funny. I said, make it a little humorous. Clearly, he doesn't think I'm that funny, but it's really great to utilize. And then my last one is, I probably would not have put this on a couple of years ago because I felt like, especially because I work as a team with my husband, like I didn't like put a lot of personal stuff on there. But now I'm a big fan of, I want to see your family. I want to see your pets, your vacations. What food are you cooking? You want to look like a human being to other people. And so I think for us personally, like that was something that I definitely started working towards. So we have an almost 3-year-old, and he has his own YouTube channel, not YouTube series. It's like called Nico's House, where he just does all these funny things as toddlers tend to do. Everything that they do when they're little is cute, funny, or probably slightly dangerous. But we just, have this thing that we were like, this kind of personalizes it, but it also talks about like home ownership, which is great. So just anything you can do to kind of make yourself look more relatable to people. People want to get to know you. And one of the first places they go to do that is Google. They look you up. They look at all of your things. So that is just really kind of my social media networking dues. I know I kind of went over that fast, but again, we'll have those videos up for you, the how-tos, and this is just to kind of give you a general idea on a great way to start with social media networking and, doing an event online. But anyway, I just double checking. Love to hear more about time blocking. I will make sure that when we send out the video that we include some information about time blocking in there as well. I do see some of my mentors on here from our mentorship program, which is great. So I know that maybe we can make that one of our next calls too, is we can talk a little bit about time blocking, since it's been a little bit since we've done that. But is there an automated way to choose a winner of a giveaway? That's a great question, because really you should be doing something like that instead of just being like, ooh, I like this person, I'm going to pick them. That's not really fair. I'm sure people do that probably a lot, but yeah, you can enter everybody into a spinny wheel. There's a couple different sites that do that and like spin it. You can even like take a picture of the screen, and like a lot of times we'll just send that out to be like, oh, it landed on Bob Smith. So this is how it works. And then Trish said, how do we sign up for the mentorship program? Is it available for operations employees yet? So yeah, there is a sales and non-sales version of the mentorship program. It's taken a little bit of a hiatus this year because we're updating a few things on the grow side. For those of you who don't know, we have 2 new grow chairs that joined us recently as well. So there's just a little bit of revamping. So I think we'll probably be looking at launching something sometime next year to get that mentorship program up and running. But yeah, we do have a sales and a non-sales version. And if you've taken the sales and you want to take the non-sales version this time around, that you can always do that as well. But we do. So everyone's always welcome. And then also, for those of you who don't know, we have other wonderful calls. Tracy Anastasia, our executive sponsor for Grow, she runs a parenting call. It's very helpful, very cathartic. She's pretty amazing. She has many children herself, so She knows how to help all of us who are, parents who have moments from time to time. And then also, we have some other great programming that will be coming out with Grow as well. Tiffany Langdon, I see you on the call. She does a lot of great programming for Grow as well. So we will be, announcing some of that. But the Grow landing page on the employee resource group has all past calls. So probably dating back at least 5 years. A lot of them will be relevant to you today. And I would just say, go educate yourself on something else that interests you. It's always really great to go back and learn something. We have, between all of our family of companies, we have so many great different resources. But that is a really great landing page that we've been, just constantly adding to over the last 5 years. And then eventually this call will land on there as well, along with the slides and a bunch of other information, but we'll get that out to everybody once it's available. And so with that, if there are any other questions, I will bid you all a happy Wednesday. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out. You can growitright.com is a great resource. Or if you have any questions specific to what we went over today, I'm just Joanne Theriault-Fazio in the directory, or joanne@properrate.com. So thanks, everyone.